Hi, and good evening. My name is David. I use he, him pronouns, and I am running a session of Thirsty Sword Lesbians this evening. Um, Thirsty Sword Lesbians is a Powered by the Apocalypse game of uh, action and romance with a sort of queer action hero thing. I've confused myself there. It's a game by April Kit Walsh. Recently had a incredibly successful Kickstarter. It's going to be published in with the aid of Evil Hat. You can find out more about the game. I've put a link to that just down below here. The particular game we are playing is inspired by the world of Greek mythology, particularly in a very pop culture grab bag sense of the mythology, rather than perfect replicas of the original source material. Like particularly drawing on inspiration such as the video game Hades, which I've played a lot of, and other kind of, sort of more modern tellings of the stories of Greek myth. This game is being run via the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing group. We arrange games through a gaming calendar, where you can sign up. You can sign up for games there. We also have a number of podcasts, as well as a monthly gaming zine called Codex, which is available to Patreon backers and also through Drive Through RPG, where it's released afterwards. Again, I'll put a link down to the website just down below, so do feel free to check that out as well if you are interested in learning more about who we are, what we do, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, as I said, tonight we're playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians, but without before we go any further, I will ask my players to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about who they're playing and what they got up to last time. So I'll, as ever for this bit, go through in character keeper order. So yeah, Gerwin, if you would like to tell us who you'll be, introduce yourself and tell us who you'll be playing.
Hello, I'm Gerwin. I've played on the Gauntlet now for around about 3 years. I feel older every time I say that. And I'm playing a Nymphadora, who is an automaton that was crafted by Hephaestus. Sorry, I can never say his name. As a gift to his wife Aphrodite. The problem is Nymphadora looks too much like one of the Graces, and that annoyed Aphrodite, as is wont to happen. And Nymphadora got cast out of Olympus as a result. But she was made for Aphrodite, and she's come into the world with a devotion to Aphrodite and her ways to bring lovers together, to get people to commit to their passions, and to defend the honor of her maiden. Well, not her maiden, but you know what I mean.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. And next, Stephen, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you're playing.
Yeah, I am playing Berenice, daughter of Coronis and Aphrodite and Sparta. I'm the Seeker, and that comes with a lot of Spartan baggage attached to it. And last week, I think we got. I think I tried to get. I think we had an encounter with a Gorgon, and yeah. Had some therapeutic sword fighting with Nymphadora.
Yeah, Absolutely, that's brilliant. Thank you. And next, Joe, if you would like to introduce yourself, and again tell us a little about who you are playing tonight.
Hey everybody, my name is Joe. Playing and running games on the Gauntlet now. Gonna hope to do that for a long time to come. I am playing Katch, whose name literally means of the underworld. She goes by Katch. Katch is a nerdy theater goth before such a things actually existed. She has a special connection to the underworld and to various strange creatures and monsters. Last week, she decided to try and solve their problem of planning out a heist by summoning the spirit of King Leonidas, King Leo, from the underworld. That didn't go well, and he is now wandering around in flesh, possibly intending to eventually murder some people. So she feels guilty about that.
I should know, a nerdy theater goth before the goths existed. So, you know, if anyone set the look, it's Katch.
I am now tempted to run a follow-up game of Morgoths versus Visigoths and Visigoths versus Morgoths, whichever way around it goes.
I'll play Katch. I should be on either side. It'd be fine.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And last but not least, Diana, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you're playing tonight.
Yes, Olas. I go by Diana Moon online. I use she, her pronouns. I am a narrative writer and cultural sensitivity editor, consultant at times. I've been on the Gauntlet on and off for the past couple of years. And I'd like playing a variety of games like this one. I am playing today Rhode, she, they, who is a trickster and is the face technically of this ragtag group of pirate thespians, and doesn't really trust anybody to an extent. They, of course, they trust their troop to, do their job. And last week tried and failed to convince a dead, what was it, Spartan Lord, to like go on a rampage in the undead, because that would be terrible. And we're doing a crazy, like, not to use that word, spicy Ocean's 12 like switcheroo with Berenice and their mother. We're going to see if that's going to work or not, so we can have some shenanigans happen at this big feast that's supposed to be happening with most of, I already forgot the city word.
Yeah, on the island of Ithaca is
Yes.
Where we are currently.
I'm only barely through my first coffee, so forgive me.
That's fine. That is okay. I'm sure we'll get there. So that's cool. No, thank you very much, everyone. So yeah, as I said, last time we saw our intrepid crew was on the island of Ithaca, where a play was performed satirizing the lovers of Penelope in front of her son, the King Telemachus of Ithaca. In the course of events, we learnt that there is a hidden treasure trove somewhere on the island of various items hoarded by Odysseus. We learned that Berenice's mother, Admiral Coronis of the Spartan fleet, occasional nemesis of the party, was on her way to Ithaca to meet with Telemachus, and is in fact landing on the island as we speak. And in the midst of things going on, yes, we had the Gorgons Theno commissioned the crew to steal back the head of her sister Medusa, which is believed to be kept in the treasure trove, as previously mentioned. And yes, we have the King Leonidas in undead King Leonidas has been unleashed upon the island. So I think, if memory serves, where we left things off last time, Nymphadora and Nymphadora and Berenice had just had an intense duel outside of the amphitheater at Ithaca. And I think Katch and Rhode were just sort of emerging after their encounter with King Leonidas. So I think that I will. I think I'd just like to see a moment of the four of you back together again. So Nymphadora and Berenice, how do you both look when the other two emerge from the amphitheater?
Well, I think Berenice probably looks flushed and sweaty from the impromptu duel we had.
And Nymphadora is covered in dust because I ended up on the ground.
Did you fight with the plants?
They did not put up much of a challenge. We were victorious. Tales will be told of our victories.
I see.
Nymphadora, you're getting good at the sarcasm. That's a good job.
Sarcasm?
We'll talk later. It's fine.
I think I look at Katch and I'm like, you explain that one to them. Like,
She wants to learn more. It doesn't matter. We'll talk later. You had the herbs that you were looking for?
Oh, the herbs.
Didn't.
I hold out some branches. They're definitely just not at all like they're just like random leaves. Are any of these what you were looking for? You are welcome.
I'm sure what I was looking for is in here somewhere.
I think I take them and just like kind of look at it and just kind of like give like, you know how when a child gives you, or like when a pet gives you like their roadkill or something, it's like, here, a gift. It's like, nice job. And I'm just doing that nod, like, good job. But not able to say anything because otherwise it'd be late what I'm trying to do, which would be good.
That is good. We can now summon the ghost that you wish to speak to.
Oh, about that. I did actually manage to summon a ghost.
More than a ghost.
More than a ghost. A
Two
spirit.
ghosts?
No, just one. Just one. Well, I did talk with Justice for a while, but that's nothing. He's my friend. That's nothing new. Yes, so if you see somebody walking around who looks like an old Spartan king, probably best to stay clear.
Which Spartan king?
I think he said his name was what was it now? Leono. Yes, that's the one.
Yes, very real, very... Katch has been hiding their talents from us. Apparently we could have filled this play of ours with very many extras.
That probably wouldn't have been a good idea. They're not good actors.
Most aren't good actors.
Hades is gonna be pissed.
Well, I shrug. What shall he do? Wander around demanding offerings of goat blood from passerbys?
God, I hope not. But anyway, we should probably get to planning our big thing, because we should do that and then get out of here quickly so that we're not caught.
You were serious. This is not sarcasm.
About which part?
Leonidas.
Yes, no, unfortunately that did actually happen. Yes.
You summoned Leonidas here.
Yes. Well, I didn't. I want to make it clear that I did not mean to summon King Leonidas here. This was not my intention. Well, okay, it was my intention to summon him, but in spirit form, I didn't know that he would show up in physical form. I'm sure he'll fade once the sun rises. That's usually how this works.
I see. And I place a gauntleted hand on your shoulder, Katch. As you were the one who summoned him, Katch, I believe that it is on your shoulders to defeat him in combat and send him back to the underworld.
Is that how that works?
He'll be a good distraction so we can do what we need to do.
Wait, I don't remember volunteering to be the distraction.
Not you, Leonidas.
Oh, okay, yeah,
But
that's
you
fine.
do have to
Particularly
clean up.
when Katch goes to defeat him before an audience.
Maybe we can tell them it's part of the play? Right, okay, so got to go figure out how to defeat Leonidas. Okay.
Sappho, do we have costumes for the siege at the Hot Gates?
Let's see. We've got plenty of Spartan uniforms kicking around, such as they are. We could definitely knock up something a bit Persian.
Do we have lots of gaudy colours?
Yes, indeed.
I've seen stories where they have depicted the Persian immortals in these dark colours, but I feel that bright, colourful uniforms are the way forward. Sorry, that's an in-joke. The Persians they did in 300 look nothing like the proper immortals who have bright, gaudy colours and proper things. And yellows, oranges, reds, and blues. And anyway, sorry, history joke out of the way.
Bright, gaudy colors. Okay.
But no, we need to plan for tonight. We need to... Whose dress was it we have to remove? And I'll turn and look at Rhode.
And I honestly don't remember. Out of character. Character, Rhode would probably know.
Yeah. Yes, it was Telemachus's mistress, who you will know is, or who you will certainly be able to find out, is named Roxane.
Yeah, so I'm like buffing at my nails, and I just say that, and it's like, shouldn't be too hard to disrobe another woman.
Well, I mean, we do it all the time backstage, so yeah.
Oh, honey, only backstage.
Well, it wouldn't work very well if it was on stage.
I don't know. I think people would pay to see that.
Us taking up play? No, wait. I see it now. Yes, I see what you're saying.
And as Sappho is heading back into the amphitheater, she says, "How do you think I afforded the boat in the first place?"
This is why I like you, Sappho.
So, we need to, and I'll turn to Berenice, we need to make you look like your mother. Is she also beautiful? Or do we need to apply makeup to you?
Oh, well, I suppose I shall have to look judgmental and disappointed at everything I say then.
That should be natural for you.
But I do think, but while they were talking about this, I did, is it okay if I just add in one thing? Because I did
Oh, yeah.
realize I was pushing for a move there. But I do turn to Katch and say, I'm sorry for calling you out, but well, you are, well, weak. Like a child, a Spartan child weak.
Yes.
I simply worry for you, Katch, and but I believe that through challenging Leonidas to combat and smiting him, you might become someone worthy of others' respect. And I'm spinning a string on you to get you to go and challenge Leonidas, because this is one of my commandments. I can't fight your battles because you're weak. You can go fight your own battles, though. And that will make you stronger.
Yeah, okay. I think that's the final bit to like convince me to go fight Leonidas. Yeah, okay, I'll go fight Leonidas.
Berenice, would it not be wise for you to give Katch some pointers and tips?
So well with the grass.
If you two wish to go off and click, spar, I believe we have time.
Very well. I suppose that we can I can show Katch a few things, and I like grab Katch by the nape of her neck, pick her up, and carry her outside with me to spar.
Wait, I need my spear. Wait.
And I would actually like to claim a free XP for that, for Toxic Devotion. Oh, not Toxic Devotion, sorry, for what's best for them. When you take action to help them be romantic with someone other than you, mark XP. Because that's entirely what I was...
I love how sparring is the equivalence of romance.
Oh, but this is Thirsty Sword Lesbians. What starts with drawn swords ends up with kissing.
Yep. No, I am happy for you to. I'm happy for you to take that point of XP. However the next scene turns out, I think that the intent was certainly there.
Is this enough of a personal sacrifice? Or does Katch feel her relationship with me is hurt because I called her weak and basically implied I don't actually respect her?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
Because I think that's how I figured you already thought about me.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Sorry, I'm just catching up on. Yeah, sorry, no, I was just double checking. I'd not missed anything. Yeah, cool. So, I don't know if you actually want to like resolve the sparring mechanically. Feel free to do so if you want. Yeah.
What if I treated it because I can spend tradition to call on the toxic power? Could I call on the toxic power to give Katch a question about Leonidas's weaknesses or something like that?
Yeah, that makes sense. You're sort of drawing on your sort of heritage with Sparta to ask a question. So yeah, I think that works.
Cool.
So yeah, if you'd like to make that roll. So sorry, I will check the. So yeah, that parley with a toxic power. Ask it your question and roll with spirit. And this will probably be that kind of rather than obviously speaking to someone in specific. This is probably more you kind of like your internal monologue with your own kind of upbringing. Yeah.
And let's see, my spirit is, I think it's probably a partial there. Yeah, that's a partial.
Cool. I think, Leonidas' weakness is obviously he is as you've already seen, he's very driven and also obviously is a skilled warrior and famed tactician and all of that, but he is obviously very, very much tied into his own self-image, and his own is very hidebound by his culture. You think that he could definitely be coaxed into making mistakes, into sort of getting angry and making mistakes by even just the fact of the fact that he is being challenged by somebody he considers, significantly his social inferior is enough to kind of make him angry on its own. But certainly needling him, showing him up, embarrassing him, stuff like that is a good way to get him off balance and angry. Whether him being angry is necessarily a good thing or not for you, who's to say? But that is definitely a way of kind of undermining him.
Cool. And I'm marking guilty.
Cool. Yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, how does this sort of sparring session look?
I don't think this is the first time we've sparred together. I think the only reason why I have any skill at all with a spear is because you've been teaching me while I've been part of the group. So how I see it is a lot of like, you have to do it like this, but I'm not sure I can do it like that. But you have to do it like this, but I'm not sure I can do it like that.
Cool. Perfect.
Oh, and since we are fighting,
you have to keep your eyes open while you swing your sword, Katch.
Well, while we're doing that, I would like to try and roll to figure out a person, please.
Yes, certainly.
Okay. Let's make the roll first. Ooh, that is an 8 on the dice. I think I have 0 for wit. I have 1 for wit. Okay, so that is a 9. Go to the moons. But they may ask one of you. Okay, you may ask 2 questions from the list below, but they may ask one of you. First question: what are your feelings toward Nymphadora?
I mean, Nymphadora is a true maiden of the battlefield. who I would have beside me in any fight.
Uh-oh. Okay. Second question is.
Remember, this is we're in physical conflict, so you can also
Yes.
ask stuff from your whispered secrets.
You are right. Thank you. What makes you insecure?
Oh, actually, it's you may additionally ask one of these, even on a.
Ooh, so does that 3 questions in total?
Yeah, is that what it means? Because it says even on a 6-.
Yeah, I think on a normal hit you still just get the 2.
Oh, okay. Just
But
checking.
yeah, on the 6- you can ask one of those questions in specific.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
But you
my
can
second
also
question-
ask one of those, as one of your 2, essentially.
Excellent. Okay. What makes you insecure? That's the question.
My mother's judgment. And
Excellent.
yeah, I'm gonna I'll ask yeah, what tradition do you most value?
What tradition do I most value? What tradition do I most value? I think the tradition I most value is the tradition of proving yourself in some area, whether it's being a warrior, whether it's being an actor, whether it's being whatever, in whatever area it is. It's I most value the tradition of going from being unlearned to learned to master.
Cool. And yeah, if we wanted to shift over to see what either Nymphadora or Rhode is up to.
Yeah, absolutely. That was where I was thinking of going next. So, Rhode, is there anything you want to do either in preparation for this for the big heist, as it were, or just in anything you wanted to do in general?
At the moment, nothing really comes to mind. I think, like, they would be prepared. Like, that's mainly what they would be doing. Is like they want this to go as smoothly as can be, despite a rogue undead Leonidas running about.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, that is perfect. I think we'll probably skip ahead onto that into a moment. But Nymphadora, I wanted to ask you: are you planning on going with Berenice and Rhode to infiltrate the palace, or are you going to accompany Katch to her confrontation with Leonidas?
I think I'm probably going to go and accompany Katch.
Cool. That's good. Awesome. In which case, I think we will skip ahead to the court of King Telemachus.
Oh, sorry, there was one thing I wanted
to
do.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah.
Sappho.
Yes. Yes, Nymphadora.
I'll point out. We're up on a high hill area, I suppose. I'll point down to the bay where this great big Spartan trireme is sitting in the water. Our enemy has come to port. It would benefit us if they were not here at the same time as us. Our ship is swifter. It may not have more rowers, but its sails carry more wind. Do you think you can draw them off while we do what needs must on the island?
I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can manage something.
Thank you. That's all I want to do, is to establish a way to get the main. Why am I not able to say Sparta tonight? Spartan forces out of the way.
Yeah, sure thing.
Because it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
I started playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey again this morning. I should be able to say Spartan.
Awesome, cool. So yeah, with that, we'll skip ahead to the court of Telemachus, and Berenice is presumably in some form of disguise as her mother. Rhode, what's your sort of approach into as you're sort of entering the court? Are you kind of going in more or less just as yourself, or are you in disguise as well?
I'm pretty sure I am in disguise. I think, yeah, I definitely wouldn't be pretending to be any part of the troop. My memory is a bit, I'm trying to remember the people that we mentioned that were part of the audience last session.
Yeah, so that we had there's Telemachus's son, who is called Nicomedes, sort of young prince. There is obviously Telemachus himself, who is the king. His mistress is, as I said, Roxane, and I'm trying to think if there was anyone. I think that was it for the sort of the figures that leapt out from the audience, anyway.
Yeah. Since I had stated that I probably spent the rest of the time preparing, that would have been researching. So, I think I would have dressed as someone that would entice Nicomedes.
Sure thing.
Whatever station that he prefers his women as, or so if that's a lady type, then that's how she'll dress. If it's something else, then that's how she would dress.
Yeah, I think you think kind of, yeah, you can easily disguise obviously, because maybe a sort of highborn Greek woman will, even if it's not exactly his type, it will certainly give you opportunity to kind of interact with him.
Right. And I'm just coming up with a fake name right now as I pull up the generator.
No worries.
Oh, we'll go with this. We'll go with Tasha.
Cool.
And yeah, so I'm just and I'm not purposely zeroing in on him. I'm doing the whole roundabout, as a lady, a highborn would do, with make the rounds. But I would and I would keep note if anybody else is also infiltrating from our troop where they are, but never actually acknowledge them.
Sure thing. That sounds good. So yeah, there is a sort of feasting going on, wine being poured, people, there is some music being played by a number of instrumentalists, and which undercuts the conversation in there. You will see, obviously, Telemachus is sat on a well, it is a throne, though obviously not a big like carved thing, but more one of those like smaller like stool things, but with some like fancy cloth strewn over it and the like. Roxane sits to his side and is, you know, attending to his wine cup and the like. She is beautiful. She's probably, you know, it's one of those classic slightly creepy type things where she's probably much closer to Nicomedes in age than Telemachus, but you know, she's seems to be have some genuine affection towards him, and likewise in return. She has lots of sort of gold ringleted hair piled up into one of those very big, like you know, stacks on top of the head, wrapped around with a cloth. She is in concert with him. Nicomedes has kind of a small group of you know, general hangers on chatting with him, and again there are a couple of eligible looking young ladies who are clearly vying for his attention. So I think I'm just gonna have a quick check on the I think I think if you're kind of circulating and kind of coming into Nicomedes' orbit, I think it probably makes sense if you would like to make your mask move at this point, just when you seek to persuade an NPC of a lie about yourself.
Awesome.
And then we can obviously play out how that looks when.
I'm so glad I decided to up my wit. So 2d6. Oh, thank you. They gave me good numbers. That's a 12.
12, excellent. So on a 10 plus, you get to choose 2 options from the list. So which is, they believe a big lie. The lie you have chosen is unexpectedly perfect, creating a new opportunity. Or they give you the benefit of the doubt and remain convinced even if there is some evidence of your lie.
Because there's probably going to be complications, I'll take the latter 2. So
Yeah.
it's unexpectedly perfect, creating an opportunity, and in the future if something comes to contradict that, they don't care.
Yeah, that is fair. And I think and yes, and I don't think that what you're doing here is a particularly big lie anyway. You are largely presenting yourself as someone above your station, maybe, but other than that, you know, it's all plain sailing really. So that is fine. So yeah, and I think as you sort of approach, he is obviously, like I said, he's sort of chatting with these other people around him. He says, "Why, hello, I do not believe that we have met before." And he kind of gives you that look over, and it's like he clearly doesn't. You can see him doing that sort of "Do I recognize you?" look, but you know, brushes it away and says, "You are a most enchanting lady, and I'm glad to make your acquaintance. I am Nicomedes of Ithaca. Please, may I have the honor of knowing your name? And he will kind of execute a very flamboyant bow.
And I do the proper like curtsy in return and extend my hand with like I think I put on like specific type of like rings that would be like signet types so that to give more information about me through those rings as someone who of his type would know. And I just go, Lady Tasha.
Well, my lady, truly an honor. And yeah, he will bend down and kiss your hand. And yeah, you know, again, probably does clock the rings. And he says, I was just thinking of going on outside for some fresh air. The gardens are most beautiful at this time of the evening. Would you care to walk with me?
I'd be delighted. Thank you.
You can definitely see a couple of the other ladies who were in attendance here, you know, glaring daggers at you as he leads you out into the garden.
I turn back and just give the ladies a very saucy wink.
Excellent.
But also, before like we do leave exit, I do want to look around the room to see if I see any of my fellow troop members.
Yes, certainly. I'm going to. Yeah, would you like to? I'm still reminding myself of all the moves in this.
It's a lot of moves. I like it, but it's also a little daunting.
Yeah. You end up with a lot of moves in your playbook as well, for most of the characters too. So yeah, it's no, that is cool. Yeah, I don't think there is particularly a no, there isn't really like a kind of assess the situation type role, which is fine. I often don't find them that useful anyway. So yeah, I think you kind of you will spot a couple of the other members of your crew, you know, probably mostly disguised as servants, going about. You know, one of the lyrists is a member of your crew, and so it's someone who's going around sort of serving drinks. And you know, they're obviously scoping out what's going on and the like. But as well, I will have you yeah, so that's no, that's cool. So yeah, that is awesome. I think I will head. I think we'll cut back over to the people going to face Leonidas. Katch and Nymphadora. What is your sort of approach? You know, obviously Leonidas was heading down to the docks to face Admiral Coronis. But how are you sort of planning to play this out?
Yes. So I'm thinking for maximum distraction, we're going to need to lead him into the courtyard.
Lead. You say lead. How do we do that?
Well, I've got a couple of ideas. They mostly involve making myself a big target. Hopefully Berenice is going to show up at some point, and then she'll also serve as a target, and then we can, all three of us together, defeat him somehow. Still working out that part. But the main thing that we're trying to do here is make him look silly.
Why are we doing that?
because he has a huge ego, right? He doesn't like people laughing at him. It will make him angry, and it will make him make a mistake, hopefully many mistakes. And then that will let us defeat him. That's the plan. Oh, also, and I'm going to pretend to be a Persian warrior from the underworld come to drag him back. That's the whole outfit that I'm wearing.
Yes, I spotted the polka dots.
Yeah, yes, those were a good touch.
I wish I was joking about that.
It's kind of perfect, actually. All right, so he's going, I mean, no, Berenice is getting ready. We can't do that yet. We definitely don't want to run into the Admiral until it's time. So how do we get him into... Okay, I have an idea.
Excellent.
If it doesn't work, maybe come up with a backup plan while we're working on this first plan.
Can you hold your breath?
For a while.
Excellent.
Right. You'll let me know when I need to hold my breath, right? Because people need to breathe. We've discussed this, you remember?
Ah, I misunderstood.
Okay. Let's hope plan A works. My plan is to try and get ahead of Leonidas, or at least try and get close to behind him. And I want to get... I don't know if this is an entice move, but I want to get the servants on my side. I'm basically going with the cover story that this is all a command performance that has been requested by the prince. But somehow the guy playing Leonidas has the wrong directions. He's heading to the dock instead of the courtyard, and we need to direct him to the courtyard. So I'm trying to get the servants' help to distract him and tell him, like, no, you must go. Oh, that is a good look. Those aren't clashing designs at all. Yeah, and then get them to tell him that the Admiral is waiting for him in the courtyard.
Yeah, awesome. So I think yeah, I think that this sounds like a defied disaster. I think when you push your limits to achieve something extraordinary that's not covered by another move, or to avert an imminent danger to yourself or someone else, say what you are willing to sacrifice, and pick your approach. So in terms of the approach, there's basically, you can pick any of your stats. This is sounding to me like probably charm or social insight with heart, maybe cleverness or knowledge with wit, but this feels like more on the side of getting that persuading people.
I'm leaning toward cleverness and knowledge because that's a better role for me.
No, that's fine. I think there's an argument for that. So that is cool. And
I'm willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, what are you willing to sacrifice to get this done? This is basically to make it clear. This is kind of a bit like a devil's bargain type thing. It's essentially if you get a mixed result, then what you're willing to sacrifice is likely to happen. Basically,
well. Definitely my dignity. Is that enough, or should we come up with more?
I think that is fair. So if you would like to make me that roll.
I would love to. All right, that is a 9.
A 9, excellent. I will say at this point, most just as a reminder for myself as well, Nymphadora, you may, if you wish, and if you have one, spend a string that you have on Katch to increase or decrease their
Well,
roll
you
by
also
one.
did you take into account you have the +1
Oh.
forward from the earlier darkest power toxic power move?
Thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
I did forget that I had that. So I'm going to hang on to that for now. Just because I might need it later.
Sure. That's fine. That's fine. So yeah, as I said, Nymphadora, you may, if you have a string on.
I don't, unfortunately. No one decided to give me strings of character gen.
No worries. So on a 7 to 9, you you are going to be able to engineer this. So I think though the complication that I'm going to what I'm going to offer here rather is I'm going to offer you a choice. Either you're sort of, obviously you're able to get you're able to get the servants on side, get this sorted out. People will fall for it, and stuff will happen accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Your two options are either the servants get the orders a little bit confused and also send Coronis to the courtyard. So Leonidas will be there, but Coronis will also turn up. It will all get a bit messier. The other option is that King Leonidas will obviously come to the courtyard, and you'll be able to form the distraction there. But you will miss Coronis, and she will make her way basically to the throne room before this sort of distraction starts, or as this distraction is starting.
I like the idea of Leonidas and Coronis showing up. Like they also tell Coronis to go to theirs. I think that is perfect.
Yeah, awesome.
I love the idea that we don't realize it's Coronis as well, and we think it's actually Berenice come to help us.
Perfect. Okay, that is awesome. So we've been going for about an hour now, so I think we'll take our first break there of about 5 minutes. So just after 1:45, we'll come back and we'll pick things up there. So thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, awesome. So I think where I'd like to pick things up as sort of Katch and Nymphadora are kind of making their way to the courtyard, where they will confront King Leonidas and the real Admiral Coronis. I think I would like to see Berenice's entrance into the court. So yeah, Berenice, how do you enter into the throne room of Telemachus?
I think Berenice stumbles in because she is wearing an overly long cloak, which gets caught up in her feet, and then she proclaims, "Greetings, I am Coronis." And I stare around, giving everything a very judgmental, disappointed gaze.
Ah, Admiral Coronis, Telemachus calls from his throne. It is good to see you here. I am glad you could make a stop in at my court. Please come sit. He holds up a gesture to like the seat of honor near his own. Come sit, drink with me.
Of course, but tell me, Telemachus, what has you calling me away from my numerous conquests and campaigns across the Isles?
I have a I have an offer that I think you will find most intriguing. But come, join me as my guest. Let me pour you wine, and before we talk on such matters.
The only wine I truly enjoy is the wine of battle, but I suppose that I may imbibe some with you. And I sit and raise the glass to toast and then drink.
And yeah, he will raise his cup in turn, and the two of you, as the two of you drink, he will kind of.
See, Ro gave me lying lessons, so I'm very good at it now.
Excellent. So, how have your journeys fared, Admiral? I have heard much of your exploits, but please tell me what you have seen.
Yes, my exploits. Well, I am certain that you have heard of the battle in which I slew 100 centaurs.
Yes.
In fact, these were very unusual centaurs in that they had the upper halves of horses and the lower halves of men.
Such strange beasts indeed. But no doubt the world is better off without them. Centaurs are never to be trusted, especially inverse centaurs. Roxane will giggle next to her and say, "Oh, quite right. I mean, personally, I'd much prefer the upper half of a man than the lower half of a horse, if you know what I mean." She'll give you a wink, Berenice.
Berenice just kind of gives a blank look of not comprehending.
Excellent. Yeah, and we will, I think, head back over to the garden where Nicomedes and Rhode are. And yeah, Nicomedes will sort of take you on. We kind of like talk, leading around the gardens, and there is and he kind of will stop to rest, sort of by a fountain in a little patio bit. One thing you will notice here is there's clearly some sort of construction work going on. There looks to be some sort of like man-made grotto or something, but there's like big stacks of like building stone and stuff outside of it as well. You will definitely notice Rhode, but yeah, he will say, "Well, thank you for joining me out here. The father's parties do tend to get a little tiresome. I suppose I ought not complain, really, but well, you know how it is."
Are you not a party person?
Oh, I certainly enjoy a good party from time to time. I just prefer ones that are slightly less boring as my father's.
Mm. What would be something you would like to see at a party? As the type that we are, have to be subjugated to many of required parties. I've definitely have imagined better ones, if I had the ability to, of course.
Yes, I just, I mean, all the usual things: good wine, good music, good company. At least some of which I can find here in my father's court, but mostly I just like to, not have to, not have the weight of the island hanging up on my shoulders, if you know what I mean. Uh, Everyone looks to me to be the next king, and
What would you
it's
like if you were given the choice? If you didn't have to worry about your father's legacy?
I've always quite I've always enjoyed music. As I say, it would be nice to just be able to relax, play the lyre for those who enjoyed listening to it. Something idyllic, I suppose.
I would like to figure them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
If you would like to make me a roll with wits, I believe.
That is an 11. The
Perfect.
dice are nice to me this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes a change from last time, but yeah. So when you figure out a person on a 10 plus, you can ask two questions, either immediately or if you want to save one for when the scene develops. That's fine as well.
All right, this might be a tall order, but how could I get you to abandon your life here?
Yeah, that is, as I say, it would be difficult for as much as he is bored here and doesn't really have any particular desire um um to be here. There is still that kind of inherent, but well, a mixture of that inherent, like he obviously lives a life of comfort and ease here, and it would mean turning his back on that. But also, obviously, he does still have some sense of responsibility towards his family's um uh position. Um, what you think would persuade him to leave would be if he if he thought that it was some kind of a destiny or a quest from the gods or something that kind of gives him an excuse to to sort of follow his heart, as it were.
Okay. That kind of goes in line with what I was thinking. So, do I want to ask this other question right now? No, I think I'll save this. I'll save the second question for right now.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
so just being like just the normal like level of like just enough flirtatious, but not to make it seem like I'm trying to get something from them. Just like enjoying company. I was like, yeah. Oh, they would be called a lyricist. Would that be like a guitarist?
Yeah, I think it's. I don't know if it's lyrist or lyricist or how exactly what the word is, but yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, so she'd be like, Alaristim, it seems like you would have the deft enough fingers to be quite well at that.
And yeah, he will kind of flex his fingers and say, "Yes, I've certainly been told so."
I feel, yes, I do. Obviously, not the same amount of pressure that you have being lord of all of this, or future lord. But I do understand that sort of pressure one has when they have to fulfill their obligations. But what if you had a chance not to fulfill your obligations and instead fulfill your destiny?
Well, the fates have not always been kind to my family, so I.
But I think it's in due time now that the fates should be.
Perhaps, and it certainly does not do to cross them when they do have a plan in mind.
I know of an oracle. They're one of my companions here. I think I could possibly persuade them to see about your destiny. Wouldn't it take some of the pressure off if you knew you were on the right path?
Oh, that does certainly sound intriguing. It would be a any insight from the gods, I suppose, would be a welcome thing, of course.
Let's see. Do I want to? Yeah, I do. I kind of want to entice them now, officially.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the conversation was kind of going there, but yeah, absolutely.
Which is going to be hard because I have a -1 in heart, but maybe the dice will be nice. So that is a 6, and no. At least it wasn't a crit fail like last time. So yeah, I think I probably stumble a little bit in being a little too physical, you know? Like and I was like, if you would just like to, maybe he misconstrues what I'm trying to indicate, would like to follow me then to somewhere where we could meet my friend and abandon this party.
Um, of course, he says, and bear with me 1 second. Sorry, I'm just. Yeah, and I think that he will agree to follow you, but you kind of I think you realize as you're talking to him, as much as he kind of puts on this very sort of louche exterior, he's actually you actually see that he is kind of genuinely has that kind of, he wants to trust people. He's got that what's the word? He's got that sort of almost like an innocence to him.
Like a puppy dog, kind of.
Exactly, like a puppy dog, yep. And I think I would like you to mark a condition as you are
Okay.
involving him in your schemes.
Let's see. I guess it would make sense. I'm feeling a touch guilty.
Sure thing. Yep, that guilty sounds perfect. And I believe that also means that you increase your feelings by 1. I think.
Stupid feelings.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was just looking at how I could hit your feelings. So yeah, that made sense.
What's interesting also is because I am playing this part, if any of the other PCs try to figure me out, I have to lie because I'm playing this part, and that also increases feelings.
Nice.
So
Nice.
if I interact with anybody, yeah.
Awesome.
Just letting my fellow players know that.
Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, and but yeah, I think he will let you kind of lead him where you want him to go. If you want to ask another question now, you may do so now as well.
Yeah, let me double check and see.
But yeah, we can pick up on that
if I can still save it, I'll save it for right now.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
My intention, though, either depending on like where everybody is at the time, either it's to go to Nymphadora and like somehow subtly tell Nymphadora, pretend to be an oracle, or we have another troop member who does this a lot, you know. But either way,
I'm more than happy to do that role.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Yeah, we can loop that in a moment. As I think,
whenever, yeah.
I think exactly. I think things are about to get quite distracting. So, out in the courtyard, we have obviously Nymphadora and Katch are there as the King Leonidas and Admiral Coronis are making their respective way to the to here.
Before they arrive, can I just have a quick thing with Katch?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to just check in how you were sort of preparing or whatever else in advance.
Are you ready for this?
I think there's one more thing I need to do, Nymphadora, but frankly, I'm reluctant.
Well, the privy is over there. Do not worry about me.
Okay, now there's 2 things I need to do before I do this.
Oh, you did not mean...
I didn't,
I
but
apologize.
No, that's fine. Thank you for mentioning. That's actually a very good idea. I should do that before we start things.
What is it you need to do?
I'm thinking that I need to ask the gods for assistance.
I'm a vessel of the gods. I am your assistance.
Well, that was easy.
Do not let that get around.
Oh no!
I am not easy.
Oh no! Of course, no. I don't.
Well,
that's not what I meant.
Well, not to everyone anyway.
Is there someone in particular you would like me to get that around to?
Let us. And
Are you figuring her out?
Yeah, I think she's trying to change the subject.
I am trying to
figure
point out a person.
Because she is desperately trying to change the subject.
Yes. Oh, well, that is an 11.
Perfect.
Ask you questions.
Do you love the most? How would you feel if Katch is naive when it comes to relationships. She's worldly otherwise, but she's kind of naive when it comes to relationships. So what are your feelings towards Sappho?
She is a true daughter of Aphrodite. She goes into the world and encourages folks to follow their passions, and as a daughter of Aphrodite, I honor her.
Okay. Okay. What do you hope to get from traveling with the group?
Purpose. I was cast out. Here I have purpose. Sorry, that I'm saying it in the voice now. She basically, this group allows her to fulfill her purpose. She actually, let me rephrase that slightly. Companionship. Because she could do this on her own, but she has a place in the group. And I think that's the key takeaway there is she fits in here, whereas elsewhere she is on her own.
Yes.
There's that real sense of loneliness to her.
Okay.
Now, let us see your stance.
And she strikes a pose that is very much more suited for the stage than for actual combat.
That is no good. That is a Spartan stance.
Well, yes, of course.
I see the mistake. Berenice taught you to fight like a Spartan. But
Well,
you
yes.
You are not playing a Spartan.
No.
I'm
You're right, I'm not.
I'm going to slip behind and basically hand over, move the spear to a slightly different position, rotate the shield round. But I'm doing this while basically behind you and leaning over you.
Is that by any chance an entice?
Well, I'm actually going for emotional support
Yeah,
now
no,
more
I like
than
that.
Cool. No, that's also fine. That's also fine.
There. She will teach you. She will teach you many things, but there are things you need to learn on your own. But you are smart. You will learn them.
Thank you, Nymphadora.
And yes, I'd like to roll emotional support if I can, please.
Absolutely. So that is a roll with either heart or spirit. Your choice.
I'm rolling with spirit.
Cool.
And that is a 10.
Perfect.
Nice.
So on a 10 plus, if they open up to you, they choose one, and either so there's basically a list of things. They choose one from clear a condition, mark XP, take +1 forward, or gain insight from me about an obstacle that you're facing. And yeah, on a 10 plus, you, Nymphadora, also get to choose one of those, or take a string on Katch.
I will take a string because that means I can actually help out later on if needs be.
Sure thing.
And I think I'm going to clear a condition.
Cool.
I no longer feel. Thank you. I no longer feel guilty. Thank you, Nymphadora. You're learning much about this world.
You would be surprised what I know.
I believe I would be.
You'd be surprised what I have seen.
You've seen a lot, haven't you?
Yes. I will have to show you sometime. Now that's an entice.
Yeah, sure thing. If you would like to go for that is a roll with heart.
And that's a 13.
Perfect.
Very nice.
So we all gain another string on Katch. And Katch, you may choose one from get flustered and awkward, promise something they think you want. Sorry. Yes, so promise them something that they think they want. That should probably be rephrased.
Her something I think she wants.
Yep, that's it. Or give in to desire.
Get flustered and
yeah.
Get flustered and awkward, because that is kind of my signature. I look forward to that. I feel there's many great things we could do together, many great moments we could have and create with each other and with others. I think we will truly be sword and shield sisters as we travel through this world together.
Yes, I can show you many appropriate positions to share with Berenice.
Oh yes, absolutely. And I'm sure there's a few different kind of thrusts and parries that Berenice has taught me that I'd be happy to teach you.
And it is at this point where there is a sudden bellow. Where is this imposter who calls themselves a Spartan? I, King Leonidas, will show all the mastery of my mastery.
And at that point, I put on my helmet, and the helmet is of Aphrodite Aria, which is the
Nice.
Aphrodite war goddess that Sparta had.
Nice.
Cool.
That's our cue.
Leonidas. And I stride out. You have come back from Hades. But you have not come alone.
What are you talking about? But yes, you are correct. I have come back from the very bonds of death themselves. And he will posture with a spear.
Hark, hark, citizens. A hero walks among us. He who bled at the hot gates. He who led the 300 that threw back the Persians. Day after day after day did their arrows rain. They blotted out the sun and fell like sleet from the sky. And the waves crashed and ran red with Persian dead. But Leonidas, you have not come alone. You have not escaped the Persians yet. And I will step to one side. And that's your cue, Katch?
Yes, that's my cue. So I'm going to use some of my special effects wizardry to make it look as though I'm walking through smoke and fog. And I hold aloft my spear. Now, we haven't talked about this yet, but I actually wield a bone and fang spear.
Nice.
So that comes through first, and it looks like it just... And I'm giving it my very best bass baritone. You have not yet escaped your bonds, King.
Ha. What is the meaning of this? I have killed more Persians than all of your grandfathers and grandfathers' grandfathers and grandfathers' grandfathers' grandfather. I will not be stopped by one mere opponent.
Have you taken leave of your wits in your time underground, Worm King? This is a challenge.
Hark at how the Persians mock. They call out the hero that they struck down. Leonidas defeated and dead. Leonidas bleeding on the floor. You have been defeated once, Leonidas. Your only loss. Shame, but pride in your victory. But you have lost to Persia once. Will you lose again?
Nonsense. I will stand strong against this weak creature. He'll wave the spear. This mere shade.
King of Worms. King of rot, king of loss. Come, let us show these true nobles who you really are.
Look upon all, for this is the hot gates, and here Persia and Sparta meet. Sorry, Joe, I just wanted to get far too much into the whole theatrical fight.
And I think with that, Leonidas will come forward with spear and shield in hand, and effect a dramatic pose. But I think we'll cut away briefly. Back to the throne room, where news of this disturbance has not quite reached here yet. But yeah, Telemachus is regaling you, Berenice, or at least telling you lots of many of his own stories of his heroic victories and so on and so forth. With sort of Roxane chipping in occasionally to editorialize on it, much to his often chagrin. But what's your plan here now that you have Telemachus at your disposal, as it were?
And this is all at the banquet, right?
That's right. Yep.
Okay, cool. What was our plan here, Rhodes? Like I don't recall our plan after dress up as my mom. I know we want to get the toga his mistress is wearing.
Yep, I think that's broadly it.
Yeah,
I'm back, sorry. What's going on?
I'm trying to recall our actual plan here.
I don't think we had 100% plan other than maybe stealing stuff.
Okay, other than dressing up as my mom. Okay.
Yeah. It was so that way because we don't know why she's here. Obviously, it's just a coincidence, but we don't know that. To like just so we're not caught partially. And then I know you two never told us about the whole Medusa thing, so
yeah. Okay. I guess I'll say, because to clarify, it's Telemachus who we think has the head of the Gorgon, right? Not.
That's right. Yep. The
Okay.
the Odysseus's treasure trove is presumably in his.
Well,
it's
part of Odysseus's treasure.
That's right. Yeah, his father's
Okay.
treasure.
If you truly accomplished such grand feats, where are the treasures? Where are the trophies of these battles? I challenge you, Telemachus, to show me them. And like, I'm kind of gesturing over at Rhodes to like, okay, now make the approach on the mistress while I distract him. But let's see, what am I rolling with here?
Yes, so this is that's a good question. This is probably
this might be defy disaster.
I think so, yeah.
I don't think it's quite entice.
No, that's right. Because you're not really appealing to him in a romantic fashion or otherwise. So
or
yeah,
physical.
Exactly, yeah. So I think that this is I think that this is probably a defied disaster with, again, probably heart or maybe spirit, because you're kind of, you know.
I think it's probably heart, as much as that's a poor idea for all of us. I do like how we've set ourselves up as a bunch of con artists, yet we're the least.
Well, you say that one of us has a positive heart.
Yeah, I know.
And it's the Silver's automaton.
Perfect. So yeah. And what
that's
are you...
that's a 6.
Oh yeah. And what are you willing to sacrifice for this?
Right. What am I willing to sacrifice? I mean, I guess at this point, my disguise.
Yeah, that is fair.
Is our other member of the group here going to intervene at all? Because I rolled a 6.
How would I be able to intervene?
If you can think of a way, you can basically you can spend a point of you can spend a string that you have on Berenice to increase their roll by 1 if you want, which would put them into a 7 to 9 rather than a fail.
Yeah, I think I would. Like, sorry, because I could not pay attention while on the phone call.
No,
so I don't
that's
know exactly
fine.
where I am. So maybe I like temporarily, like, because he is a puppy dog, I'm like, just wait here for a second. I have to, you know how it is.
I mean,
and,
I am
like,
shouting very loudly, so you probably are apprised of all of this.
Yeah. So I think the way, I'll spend that string, and what it is I like just kind of boast. What I do is I use the knowledge of the play we just had. It's like, oh yes, I mean, unless you think the play was any sort of truthful, to encourage, like, oh no, he didn't, because I think there was a whole, like, the father didn't like the play because of all the quote unquote inaccuracies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, perfect.
And I also gained a feeling because I used a string.
Nice. So yeah, I think yeah, and I think that is how it will. I think so I think what will happen is
no, I don't.
As you kind of lay this challenge, Telemachus will stand and will say, very well, I suppose I could bring forth an item to show you to show you my worth. But as he stands, he says, although of course you had seen my father's trove once before, have you not, Coronis? And you kind of see him give you that look and say, and he studies you a bit closer and says, I thought you looked a little young, though the resemblance is uncanny. But still, I think you deserve to see one piece of this treasure before I decide what to do with you.
And who knows, I might even be impressed with it.
I care little for impressing you, girl, but very well. I shall.
Is he insulting me?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this. Well, I'll let him. Is he gonna pull out the treasure yet?
I think he's definitely sent someone on to bring something as
Okay.
he's been doing this. But yeah, he is
No, I'm going to mark a point of tradition. Sorry about this, Rhodes. And I give him a backhand across the face and shout, "Do not call me girl, tyrant of what's this? What's that? Ithaca.
Ithaca, yeah.
I am more honorable, and I am more honorable than you will ever be, because one of mine is always answer an insult with a drawn sword.
And he will, his face will go white, and he says, "I know not who you are, but I will not bear such insolence under my own roof." And he pulls a sword from sort of his sword belt is like dangling off the side of his throne. He pulls his sword and levels it at you. And
How did they become part of this theater troupe again?
Excellent.
I want to use this opportunity to go, because obviously everyone's paying attention to this, to I think I follow, whoever he had called initially to go and procure, I go and follow that servant.
Yeah, sure thing. In fact, what you will see is the servant has actually led Roxanne, is basically leading, is not leading, but is walking out of the room with Roxanne, the mistress.
Mm-hmm.
As they sort of head to a room sort of slightly further inside the palace.
Trying to think. So many tabs here.
Yes, yeah.
I guess I might be trying to defy disaster by being able to just be a sneaky sneak.
Yeah, no, that sounds perfect. So yeah, if you would like, so what are you willing to sacrifice as you kind of follow them deeper into the palace?
Let's see. I guess elegance to this. Bernica is causing a bigger distraction than we need, which means they'll probably fold quicker. So I'm like, nah, let's just let's do it dirty.
Yeah, sure thing. Awesome. And yeah, this is probably going to be Grace, I think, for swiftness.
So I get a 10.
A 10? Perfect. You do it with style. I think that you follow the servant and Roxane as they head into a kind of in fact, actually, as you reach in, it is actually like a big marbled like house bathroom sort of thing. There's a big pool in there, and the servant will begin to kind of unpin and unlace the dress that Roxane is wearing as you are kind of sneaking up and following. As you do, Roxane is going to it just kind of looks around, and just you just get that moment where she like sees you and sees you see her. There's that kind of moment between you, and she just winks, and you can take a string on Roxane.
Nice. Damn it, my feelings go up.
Perfect. And I think again we will take another quick break there, come back in about 5 minutes time, and we will pick up with our various cliffhangers. Awesome. So I think we will cut back to the confrontation between Leonidas and the spectral Persian. So Leonidas has obviously taken up his battle stance. Katch, what are you going to do?
All right, so I'm going to start fighting, but I'm going to fight very defensively. I actually want to use the figure out a person move while I'm fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. If you would like to make that roll.
Right.
I think he comes in with, he fights very aggressively. He's kind of taking sort of like big lunging thrusts towards you with his spear. You're able to kind of at least deflect and delay him for a moment as you take stock of the situation. So yeah, if you'd like.
Oh, that is a 9.
9, cool. So
I think that's perfect.
On a 9, you get to ask 2 questions of him, and he gets to ask one of you in return.
Excellent. So my first question would be, how could I get you to run away from this fight?
Sure. I think at this point, obviously, he is invested in winning this fight and showing his superiority and all that. But he is also very keen to continue residing in the mortal realm. So if he thinks that you are going to somehow send him back to Hades, he is that is probably going to make him reconsider his options, shall we say.
Excellent. And then I will ask the question, what haunts you?
Yes. So it is perhaps predictably, but it is his final defeat. For as much as his sacrifice and that of his men and that of all the other people that were involved, but they aren't important, was in stopping the Persians. The fact that he lost himself in personal combat is still something that it sort of follows him through death and beyond.
Excellent. Okay, and he has one question of me.
Yes, indeed. And I think that I think he might actually Yeah, I think his is also basically going to be how can he get you to back down from this fight or flee in turn.
Ooh. So probably the easiest way to do it would be to threaten one of my friends.
Sure thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yay.
Awesome.
So what I want to do next, and I don't know if this is fight or not.
Yeah.
Might be. I want to turn this into a slapstick fight scene. So when he rushes at me, instead of like blocking and trying to attack and doing traditional things, I'm getting him to run into things, to fall over. I'm, there, because I've talked to the servants earlier, there's servants standing around with like jugs of water and oil. I'll toss on the ground so that when he runs at me, he's liable to slip. Water to toss in his face when he tries to back away. If we could get some kind of pie, I will absolutely throw that in his face.
Absolutely.
I want people to laugh at him.
Yeah, no, sure thing. That sounds great. I think that will still that will still be the fight move because you are still fighting him. But yeah, no, that's cool. I like the that setup. So yeah, if you would like to roll fight, which is with either daring or grace, whichever you think is most appropriate, really.
This I think will be grace.
Yeah, that is fair. You're more you have a plan rather than just like going for it. So yeah, no, that is cool.
That is an 8 because my grace is 0.
Sure thing. So I will say here, obviously you do have that +1 forward that you could potentially use here.
And I was going to, but it only bumps it to a 9.
And
but then I can use my strings that I got on you earlier to bump it up to a 10.
Absolutely. So I will bump this up to a 9 then with that +1 forward. This is the perfect time for it. Yeah.
And I will tug on a string.
Perfect.
Oh, sorry, it's not called that in this game, is it?
It's
yeah, string or
something like that. Yeah. Influence with a string. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, if you wanted to, subtract one, but that would just be mean.
No,
cool. So yeah, on a 10+, you get to choose 3 options from the following list, and then your opponent will choose to apply one to you as well. So the options are: flirt with or provoke your opponent and gain a string on them; through violence or cutting words, inflict a condition; create an opportunity for an ally through prowess or distraction; take an object for your opponent, or seize a superior position.
Yes. Okay. Provoke my opponent and gain a string on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I will take a string on King Leonidas.
Perfect.
I will, through violence and cutting words, inflict a condition.
Yep.
Do I get to choose that condition?
Yes, you can. He won't necessarily have all of the same conditions, as in he'll probably have fewer conditions than the 5 because he's not a huge epic. I mean, he's epic, but we're not going to have that long a fight. But like, yeah, I also haven't like pre-selected them, so feel free to choose whichever one you think is most appropriate here.
Angry makes the most amount of sense.
Yeah, sure thing. That's what I figured.
And I'm going to create an opportunity for an ally through distraction because that's kind of what I'm doing here.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So yeah, my pen's running out. Okay. Yeah. And I think in return, I think that Leonidas is going to inflict condition on you in return. As you kind of lead him, you can see him getting angrier and angrier as you make this whole scene look foolish as he's trying to fight out. It's like his utmost and I think, you know, there's just that moment where he's just slid over like a slick of olive oil and lands hard on the floor. But he does one of those kind of cool spinny around on the floor martial arts type moves to sort of get back to his feet. And as he does so, he grabs the amphora with one hand and flings it, and it kind of shatters against you and knocks you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I actually? So, is Katch taking a condition here, or?
That's right. Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to step in the way.
Sure thing.
I'm going to use a fanatical self-sacrifice. So to avoid you taking a condition, and I will take one in your place. So as the amphora is thrown, I step up. But hark, victory laid not with the Spartans, for the Persians were shielded by the path they trod. Through the mountains, through the back, they came upon the Spartans from behind. And basically, it's shattering off me as I'm doing this.
Yeah, I'm curious, at what point during that speech does a pie go into your face, as we've established as a little slapstick?
Perfect. Cool.
Is someone throwing a pie in my face?
I don't think so at this stage, but
that's
yeah.
good. That's good because I'm dressed up as as Aphrodite, and if someone pied Aphrodite, I have to do something about that because of my devotion.
Perfect. No worries. So, and with that, we will cut back over to the throne room where, Telemachus has drawn his blade and is facing you, Berenice.
Telemachus, before this banquet is done, you shall call me mistress. And I go fly at him with my spear.
Perfect. I think you know, he will kind of bring up the sword in a parry, spring back, and say, "Girl, I am the son of Odysseus, the greatest of all the Greek heroes. I call no man master and no woman mistress. But perhaps I shall make you my mistress." And he will lunge towards you with the sword. But yeah, if you would like to make the fight move, I presumed you were going straight there. Is that seemed?
I also think, as an aside, that in fact we are canonically saying that Katch originated the pie just for this fight.
Yes, indeed. A nice spanakopter in the face.
But yes. Yeah, so are we jumping to the roll then?
Yes, certainly.
Cool. Yeah, I will. Do I spend it before or after the roll? Yes, it says to take +1 forward. So yeah. Yeah, I'll spend a tradition then.
Cool.
Let's see. That I believe it brings me up to because I am using daring here. It brings me up to a 10.
10, perfect. So yeah, once again, you get to pick 3 off the list, and Telemachus gets to pick 1 in return.
Let's see. I think provoke an opponent. Well, Yeah, I'm going to provoke an opponent to gain a string on them.
Yeah.
Create an opportunity for an ally through prowess or distraction. I think this is helping set up Rhodes to actually follow through on our plan and not get distracted by challenging random people. And I think I probably, we haven't established that there were chandeliers in the room, but I think I probably like managed somehow over the course of this fight to have swung up onto a chandelier to I think we're probably both on the chandelier and we're like fighting each other on top of it, but he's definitely the one who's having to lean back as I'm forcing him as I've taken the superior position on the chandelier.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's kind of that doing that like rocking backwards and forwards thing as
Yeah.
you're both. So it's kind of like fighting on the deck of a pitching ship, which you're both moderately familiar with. So yes, perfect. But yeah, you definitely have the upper hand here. He, his. Your greater range with the spear and the fact that he's just coming at you with a with his sword is he's clearly not quite able to bridge the gap between you as easily. And
if even a king of keep forgetting the name of our island.
Ithaca, yeah.
If even a king of Ithaca cannot best one Spartan warrior, what use is your entire army, Telemachus?
Nice. And I think he as you kind of say that he will say girl, they call me the one who kills from afar. I will not be so easily defeated. And from he pulls a
so you're a coward then.
and he pulls a knife from his belt and throws it at you, and it just you get that kind of, it just like clips like a little bit of hair off as it just skims your cheek. But if you would like to take a condition, please.
Sure, I'll mark angry.
Very fair.
And no Nymphadora to catch that for you.
Yep.
Perfect. And
to be fair, that's what the devoted playbook does. It's basically take stuff for everyone else.
Awesome. So, Rhode, you said you're in this bathhouse. The servant has undone this dress, and you can see, you may or may not be able to get like a particularly clear view of it from where you are, but you can certainly see that there is like an intricate circular pattern stitched into this gown, and the servant is clearly like studying this pattern in intense concentration, as Roxane stands there. What are you going to do?
Oh gosh, so many things. So many possibilities. I'm the only one that's not fighting, so
yeah. Oh, and Roxane is she is obviously clear in in that in the classic Venus pose with hair coming down over her sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see if any of my playbook moves would work right now.
No, Rose, yeah.
Let's see here. So just to confirm, she's noticed me, but she's technically not paying attention to me, correct?
She is doing nothing to alert the servant or do anything else to kind of reveal your presence.
Okay. And we're. Yeah, I don't know why I chose the stats where I don't have heart when the trickster should be doing a lot of that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's like, trickster has no heart. What are you talking about? No feelings. I dare not have. I think, yeah, instead of approaching her, like, I'll just. My goal is just to be there to do what I need to do, which is partially steal stuff because that's what we do, but obviously more so specifically the one item we were tasked to get.
Yep.
But yeah, if I can pull for a couple of other things, I shall. So I don't know if that's again defying danger.
Yeah, sure thing. So I think basically after you've just been there a moment, obviously, and it's obviously like the servant is committing this map for that is what it is to memory, and then after a moment, they will kind of. They won't properly like redress Roxane, but they will return the gown to her, and she'll just kind of drape it over herself in a fairly casual fashion. But with that, the servant will kind of head back out of this. We'll sort of come to leave this room and sort of carry on elsewhere. But yeah, you can. I will say if you want to follow the servant, then you can continue following them with that kind of success you already got, because it's still sort of part of the same thing.
But she's not wearing the one that we need, right?
Oh no, she still has Roxane has is in possession of the gown. It's clear basically the servant has like memorized the temporarily memorized this map, but she still has it in her possession. So yeah, basically you could either just try and follow the servant there, or you could approach Roxane, whichever you.
Yeah, I think I'll. Okay, then at that, like, yeah, I was a little bit wary with the servant being there and everything. So what I'm gonna do is like because I usually am wearing multi layers because that's my thing. I kind of like shift my clothes around, take off all the like the fake signet rings and everything, and I'm going to approach her. How am I gonna approach her as? I guess kind of like I'm gonna go. No, darling. That you are deserving of some fashion much better than this.
Oh, tell me about it, darling. I only wear this because His Highness asks it of me. It all seems a bit of a palaver, if you ask me.
Exactly, but aren't you tired of just doing as His Highness asks and not wanting to do beyond that?
Well, I mean, it certainly keeps me in the style to which I've become accustomed. There's no arguing with that. But I mean, it is. I'm always on the lookout for a bit of excitement.
Right. So, and I think I look around to see, like, I'm not necessarily even looking for other clothing, but just like fabrics and what's the word I'm looking for? Not fabrics and like accoutrement kind of things. And it's like these parties, these have become so blasé, and you don't want to blend in with that. You don't want to lose his favor, correct?
No, I mean obviously I want to keep him interested. While the
So you have to excite him, and then um, taking those fabrics, I place them on myself just so that like to be like as her mirror kind of thing, and make it a bit more of a saucier version of what she's wearing or about to wear.
cool. Yeah. Oh, go. Let's have an entice roll here. I think it seems the appropriate moment. So, with entice, you can this is rolled with heart.
And that's going to be a 4 because I'm a -2 with, or -1
Ooh.
or 5, so it's a 5. I
5.
think I was -2. But I do have the string.
Yeah, you've got a string. That will
That only gives me a 1 though.
it will,
Right.
yeah. So I think that what will happen here is as you're kind of redressing her, and you've got her sort of original dress in hand. She is just going to pat you on the cheek and say, now look now dear, I'm no Aristotle, but I'm not completed yet. And she sort of leans in a bit closer and says, there's a golden apple in that trove. Bring that to me, and I won't let on what you're up to. All right?
She just nods. Well, I shan't leave a lady waiting for long. And I'll do like a quick bow, like a servant would. And then like having clocked where at least where I last saw the other servant go and follow them then.
Sure thing. Cool. Yeah. Perfect. Awesome. So I'm going to head back out to the courtyard. So yeah, Nymphadora, you've just intercepted this amphora that was thrown at Katch. Leonidas is angry, still coming for Katch, despite all of the various shenanigans going on. It's at this point that you will see a possibly familiar figure march into the courtyard. It is clearly Admiral Coronis with a small contingent of Spartan troops with her, just as sort of an honor guard. As they will enter the courtyard and see the general commotion going on, and raise an eyebrow and stand there, sort of hands planted on hips, staring at this quite frankly embarrassing show. So Nymphadora, what do you do?
Oh, I need to think about this for a second.
No worries.
Okay, first of all, instantly I'm smitten by Admiral Coronis. Because like mother, like daughter.
Certainly. So I believe the question I have to ask of you is, how does pursuing Admiral Coronis conflict with your devotion?
Well, I don't think Berenice would actually particularly like it. It would likely cause strife between us.
That is very fair.
But I think they gain a string on me as a result of
they do indeed. I will make a note of that.
I'm gonna look at Katch. We need to wrap this up quick. Sorry, I need to wrap this up quick. And
I'm busy.
And so it was that the Spartans fell, betrayed from behind. And I'm basically going to come up from behind with draw my sword. And I think there's that instant shower of feathers and rose petals, which, as I'm dressed as Aphrodite, is totally in keeping. And I'm basically going to try and stab him from behind. But at the same time, I have a denarii. Is it denarii for Greeks? It is, isn't it? Dinar. Well,
I think that's Latin, isn't it? Because it has an I ending.
Yeah,
plural.
I think it is. Well, what they use in Hades is the obol, I think. I don't know if that's actually. Yeah.
I have one of the coins palmed, but as I stab behind it, my hand basically comes up to is going to try to come up to Leonidas's mouth and basically shove the coin in. So he's got a way of paying the ferryman to get across the river again.
Perfect. If you would like to make me a fight roll, unless you have another move that's more appropriate, but I think it sounds like a fight.
Okay, so fight is which stat is that done off again?
It is either daring or grace, whichever you think is more appropriate.
Ooh, well, I'm not good at. I don't think I'm good at either of those, if I'm totally honest. Well, I'll go with daring, so that gives me I'm -1 because I'm frightened, so that gives me a straight dice roll.
Cool.
And that is a 7.
7. So cool. On the 7 to 9. I think that is that you get 2 and they get 1. Yes, that's it. You get 2, they get 1. Yeah. It's a fairly generous the move, the fight move.
I'm going to create an opportunity for your ally through prowess or distraction. And I'm going to... I think I'm going to... I'm going to inflict a condition.
Yep. Perfect. So yeah, I think yeah, I think that what will happen here is you'll drive the sword into his back. He cries out in pain and anger, and then that's when the coin goes in the mouth. You hear sort of that choking sound as he swallows it. And he's obviously, his attention is drawn around to you, which will give the opportunity to catch, which we'll come back to in a second. But I think the one actually I'm going to go for is that he's also going to create an opportunity for an ally, and I think that there's just that moment of indecision on Coronis's face, as she's trying to work out exactly what is going on here. But you just see that moment where she obviously clearly makes a decision that, you know, Leonidas is dressed in Spartan garb. There's somebody who looks vaguely like a Persian there. You know, she knows how this works, and you know, she unsheathes her own spear and sort of twirls it around, and is clearly advancing. She's not in a position to attack quite yet, but she's clearly like made up her decision what she's doing. But Katch, what do you do with this momentary opportunity? Leonidas doesn't look great at this stage, it has to be said. He's clearly he's clearly been hurt and distracted, but yeah.
So I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity. I'm not going to do the smart thing, which would be to. Actually, no. I'm going to do this the smarter of my two options that I can think of. I'm going to go with Leonidas. I'm actually going to influence with a string.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yes. Finding out what it will take them to do what you want to do. For an NPC, spending the string means they simply agree.
Yeah.
So I walk in, and I also would like to, if I can really stretch things a little bit, I also want to throw down a smoke bomb.
Yeah, no, that's
sort
cool.
of like theater.
Yes.
And I run up to Leonidas, and I say, and I take off part of my mask and helm so you can see that it's me, the person who originally summoned him. We have already severed your flesh, great king. Leave and return to the spirit world before we destroy your memory as well.
Yeah, and I think there's just that moment of shock in his eyes as he recognizes who you are. There's a look of distress in his face. He realizes he's lost this fight again. And then you just see like the glow of the coin from sort of deep within his chest as it sort of glows through his skin. And he just like, it's that proper, like, it's sort of almost the full on like Wizard of Oz, you know, he's just, his cloak and helmet just clattered down onto the floor amidst this smoke.
Excellent.
Awesome.
And then as soon as he's done, through the smoke, I literally just do an actor's bow, just like.
And thus Leonidas fell, betrayed, surrounded. But where he stood, he held the gates. For 3 long days, blood. For 3 long days, pain. For 3 long days, suffering and anguish. But for 3 long days, strength. And when he fell so that Greece may still stand. The bones of our countries, of our states and our cities are built on his sacrifice.
And I think at that point where sort of Coronis has been kind of readying her spear, she kind of slams the butt of it into the flagstones of the courtyard, as she realizes that, you know, this is obviously some form of theatrical production of which the Ithacans are so enamored. And we will go to Berenice. So you are on this swinging chandelier with Telemachus. He, you know, you've got a position of strength over him, but what do you choose to do with it?
Well, I'm really only here to steal him. I mean, I've embarrassed him enough. let's see here. How do the moves here work? I think I say I have better things to do than waste my time on kings and their tiny blades. And I give a swing off the chandelier and go crashing through one of the vents to outside and catch up with Rhodes.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm not going to ask for a move there because I think you already had the advantage over him, so that is perfect. Yep. So yeah. And yeah, Rhodes. In fact, Berenice will conveniently land almost next to you as you follow the servant out, and he's headed into that little grotto thing you saw earlier. I actually think, given the time we're coming to, and I feel like we've got the big arcs out of this, so I think that the two of you together will venture into what is clearly a labyrinth built beneath the palace, at the center of which are a number of treasures, and we will. I think we'll come back to that in slightly more detail at the beginning of next session. That will be our kind of cold open next time, I think. But that is where we'll leave the session tonight. We will, because I will remember this time, we will do our end of session moves. So I will familiarize myself with where those are again. Yeah, so at the end of session, each player marks XP if during the session any PC confessed their love. Does anyone feel like we hit this one today?
Does it have to be confessing it to the object of their love?
No, it does not specify that.
I think I probably confessed my love my love for Nymphadora to Katch.
Yeah, that is fair. So everyone can mark 1 XP for that. Did any PC de-escalate a violent situation?
No.
I'm actually going to say yes here because Nymphadora's quick turning of the summation at the end of the duel there did make Coronis back down, because otherwise she was going to take this as a huge insult dealt to her.
Oh yes, definitely. And thankfully she didn't see the first part of the play.
Yes. So yes, you can all mark 1 for that. Did any PC leap into danger with daring and panache? I mean,
yeah.
I feel like that one was most definitely a thing that happened. Definitely. Did any player use a safety tool or check-in or something of that nature? I feel
Diana
like
asked
someone
for the break earlier.
That's fair. And I feel like there was a point where someone specifically checked in about something as well. I don't remember what now, but yeah, no, absolutely. Okay. Cool. So perfect. I
advanced again with 1 XP because I forgot to mark the XP for when I failed the roll.
Nice.
Excellent.
And I'm definitely going to take a move.
Perfect.
I should probably fix that heart, but
yeah.
I am also advancing. Not sure what I'm going to take yet.
I forget, how much XP do you need?
5, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, I suppose depending if you just hit last time, then you might not this time. But yeah, I think most people should probably advance. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So thank you very much, everyone. I will stop the recording now, but we'll do a quick round of stars and wishes if people are free to do so.